Welcome to Marketing Yourself, the resume and cover letter workshop for San Diego City College students and alumni. This resume workshop will help you ensure that your documents are targeted for success. My name is Sasha Knox, the Job Placement Coordinator at San Diego City College. I've authored this presentation to help you market yourself adequately to employers. So let's begin with the purpose of a resume. Remember that employers typically spend about 7 to 10 seconds reviewing a resume prior to moving on to the next candidate. That means that employers prefer clear, concise, easy-to-read resumes that are only about 1 to 2 pages in length. This is a document to showcase your skills and abilities, and most importantly, this is an on-paper transcript to help you land an interview. To do that, you want to make sure that all of your documents are tailored and ready specifically to the job description. So remember that a resume is only one part of a package deal. So the resume is a document marketing yourself that shows all that you've accomplished and all that you may be able to do to be capable of for a particular job or the particular company. The resume is your commercial, and you're the product. So this is really the opportunity to demonstrate your abilities and showcase what you're capable of doing. You want to pair any resume with a cover letter, even when an employer may not ask you for one. The reason for that is because a cover letter is more like an opening letter that serves as a handshake. So again, these documents are the reason why you want to land an interview. The cover letter introduces the resume. It summarizes why you're qualified, and you're telling the reader, I'm so interesting, and my resume will tell you all of these things. So your cover letter really talks about areas of opportunities, things that are in alignment with you personally and the company, and you want to highlight 1 or 2 experiences on your resume that show why you're the best candidate. Your LinkedIn is also a digital tool to help introduce you to many of the marketing world. So if we think about statistically, 70% of jobs are not filled by a traditional job board. This is done by informal interviews, people that know individuals, and all those that recruit by networking. So LinkedIn is really an opportunity for you to network without actually entering a room. Your resume and your LinkedIn should mirror each other, and your LinkedIn is an opportunity to have a digital resource to tell recruiters why you should be eligible for the position that you're applying to. Your portfolio, or an online portfolio. Sometimes this is called e-portfolio. This is also called a digital portfolio. This is an online database to show actual artifacts of your work. This is not a resume and not a LinkedIn. Your digital portfolio should have actual tangible pieces of work that you've created. For creative industries like news, editorial, digital media, this is an opportunity for you to showcase your work. A digital portfolio or an e-portfolio is not another opportunity to tell us how you do the work, but to show us what you've done. So how do you begin? I would start with a master resume. You want to list out everything that you've done as a working professional thus far. Your master resume includes all work experience, whether it be paid, unpaid, a side gig, something that you may have done for your aunt a couple years ago, anything as a volunteer opportunity, anything as a community member, any board that you may served on, religious affiliations like leading a children's church or a choir, anything and everything under the sun that you've done to showcase your experience should be on your master resume. The second part of your master resume is list all education. This includes badges on LinkedIn portfolios, any type of trainings and certificates like CPR or maybe a 1-unit Microsoft class that you may have taken. This is any type of on-the-job training that you may have received, even if it's super job specific. For example, when I was in the nonprofit industry, we could take management courses that were specific to that organization. I would still use these training certificates to showcase my managerial skills. And lastly, you want to include all awards and recognition that you've ever received. So if you earned Employee of the Month, you bet that should live on your master resume. I want to reiterate and reiterate that this master resume is only for you. It is for your eyes only. You should never send your master resume to an employer. Your master resume is the document that is going to showcase anything and everything that you've done under the sun with all dates attached. This is a good reference and starting point for when you begin to craft your resume and tailor your resume to the specific position. What I hear from students all the time is, I think that I have some of the parts of this job, but I'm not sure if I should apply. Your master resume and the job description should be able to stand side by side, and you can make a clear case for you going for the position that you're applying for. Again, your master resume is for your eyes only. So let's switch gears and talk about formatting. How exactly should you present your resume? I want to reiterate, your content should dictate your format and not the other way around. There are some individuals watching this presentation that have been in the workforce for over 10 years. Sometimes it could be extremely difficult to showcase all of your experience in one page. There are special circumstances for your format to be dictated by the content that you deliver. Think of it this way. Have you ever had to type a 10-page paper and you were truly done in 8 pages and you kind of fluffed around and added some pieces to ensure that you got to that 10-page mark, but your document was really done about 8 pages? You don't want your resume to follow that. You really should be able to tell us, the reader, what you need specifically and why you're the best candidate for the job within those 1 to 2 pages. For the next couple of slides, we're going to talk about how your resume should look, the style and presence, and how to create a lasting first impression. Remember, employees only really spend about 7 to 10 seconds before they decide that you are the best job and they're going to bring you in for an interview, or they're going to throw your resume in the trash. So you want to make that first lasting great impression the first time around. So where do I get this information from? I want to pause here to talk about the eye tracking study created by Ladders, Inc. that they complete every year. So the eye tracking Ladders, Inc. revealed that the time recruiters spend on the initial screening of a resume is anywhere from about 6 to 10 seconds. In 2018, they found that an average recruiter only spent about 7.4 seconds on a resume. I don't know about you, but I haven't been able to complete any task within the last year, including tying my shoes, in only 7.4 seconds. So I really want to magnify this point because it shows how little time recruiters will skim a resume before they decide this is a great person for the job. In order to maximize your resume, you really want to ensure that you have a featured, simple layout. This means clear sections, headings that may be bolded or clearly laid out, a very detailed mission statement at the top of the page, as well as your contact information at the top of the page. We'll talk more specifically about why I'm saying where to put this, how that affects your success long term, and what information to overload. But again, I want to reiterate that every year, the Ladders, Inc. Professionals go out and do this recruitment survey to tell us, specifically as career professionals, what they want to see. So this information is coming directly from NACE, which is the National Association of Colleges and Employers, and is recognized worldwide. So, formatting tips. Generally, if you're applying to a civilian position, and what I mean by that is that it's not a government affiliate, you want to ensure that your resume is 1 to 2 pages in length. Again, I reiterate that your content dictates your format. If you have a lot of work experience or you're creating a CV, which is a curriculum vitae, your document may be longer than 1 to 2 pages in length. No matter what your length, you should have uniform margins, which is 0.6 to 1 inch on every single corner of your page. You want to make sure that your name and contact information is on the top of the page, never buried into a header or footer, and you want to make sure that all of your contact information, as much as possible, can live on one line of a page. You only want to present one phone number and one professional email address. Again, when we scan that resume for 7.4 seconds, one of the first things that they land on is the top of the page, and it is your contact information. If you have an unprofessional contact information, like kitty103@gmail.com versus your first and last name, you may not pass that first pass or fail test. You want to ensure that your resume has bullets and not paragraphs. So you want to ensure that each one of your work experiences has 3 to 5 bullets detailing specifically what accomplishment and how you work adequately well to do that job. You don't want fluff information. This is an area where you don't want to tell us what you were responsible for doing. Instead, you want to tell us why you are the rock star of that position. We'll talk about how to craft that more in just a second. Again, you don't want any fluff information, no fillers, no gaps, and you really don't want to speak to anything that you have not done specifically. So if you worked on a project but were not the lead of the project, you don't want to author in your document that you managed or led a project that you may have just been a co-facilitator on. So there are 3 types of resumes, and we will go through all 3 here. So the first type is a chronological resume, and it sounds exactly as it is. It's a summary of qualifications that are listed in chronological order. As you'll see by my example here, the contact information is at the top of the page, the objective is there, and then it leads with the experience that the individual has, going in chronological order from most recent to least recent. Then you'll have the education and your community or interest section. The functional resume talks about the skills and the accomplishments versus the actual work history in chronological order. So as you'll see by this example, you have the contact information that was at the top of the page, the overall summary, letting the recruiter know why you're the best person for that position, and then listing by major skill, for example, management or customer service, listing by each skill how you've done that in a variety of different industries. A functional resume is really great for individuals who may not have a lot of years of work experience, but may be transitioning into a new position overall. So if I've worked in retail for the last 10 years, but I want to move into marketing, a functional resume may be the best bet to showcase all of the accomplishments because there are a lot of transferable skills that I've learned in all of my years in retail. Again, we'll get to the weeds of that and how to craft a great bullet in just a couple slides. So the hybrid resume. The hybrid resume is exactly as it sounds. It's a mixture of both the functional and the chronological resume. The beauty of a hybrid resume is that it allows the user to list a variety of skills that may be relevant to the position, but also show their work history as it happened chronologically. So you'll see by my example, the contact information lists at the top of the page. There's a professional summary section that is a maximum of 3 bullets. This can also be 6 to 12 keywords from the job description, but it just lists points that summarize why you're the best individual for that job. You want to mention a lot of the soft skills, which are also known as 21st century skills, things like communication, innovation, integrity, group work, all of the aspects that are listed on the actual job description. And then you also want to list relevant skills and proficiencies. So again, this is the opportunity for you to author why you're the absolute best person for the job. This is done by you telling us only accomplishments based. So I'm going to pause here just to speak a little bit about the fact that your resume content should only tell the recruiter why you have been amazing at your job. And sometimes that's hard to do because in this society, we don't walk around a room and just brag about who we are. Yet, that's exactly what a 1 to 2 page resume does. It is 1 to 2 page full bragging rights of why you are the absolute best qualified candidate for the position that you're applying to. It's an opportunity for you on paper to tell them why you are the most amazing worker there is. So in a hybrid resume, you get the opportunity to not only tell them what you've done from the workforce, but also highlight those skills specifically in your skills in your summary section. The hybrid resume is my personal favorite because it gives the opportunity and a quick snapshot for you to showcase all of your relevant skills. You can also find a copy of the hybrid resume template listed on our website under resources. So content tips. We're going to transition a little bit to talk about what exactly should live on your resume. How do I target my resume to the position that I really want to apply for? So I want you to think of this as you would be packing for a trip. If you're not like me and you go to the Bahamas, you want to make sure that you're packing things for your trip like bathing suits, warm towels, warm wear, but you're not going to include maybe like an Alaskan jacket, right? Because in the Bahamas, it's not quite suited for that trip. When you think about the content for your resume, the same analogy applies. You want to make sure that the content of your resume, every single line of your resume is tailored to the job description. If you think about the job description as all the answers to the test, you're already halfway there. Your resume should only speak to what the recruiter is listing as needed. A lot of students, professionals, and alumni get tripped up because they're always trying to showcase why they're the most well-rounded candidate. And while I agree, San Diego City College has some of the best students known to man, you only want to list the content and the information that's most relevant for the position that you've applied to. So you, like myself, may have 4 to 5 different major resumes that you tailor to the position. Because my work history has spanned across nonprofit management, K through 12 education, higher education, and then digital literacy, instruction, and design, I have resumes tailored to every single industry instead of trying to create a one-size-fits-all approach. You want to make sure that all of the action verbs, every beginning, starting sentence of your resume starts with an action verb. Examples of this are managed, led, created, developed, instead of something like responsible for. These action verbs allow me to take ownership of the work that I've created or developed versus being told to do something and carrying out a task. Remember, recruiters want to see go-getters, initiators, and self-starters, not individuals that they have to kind of micromanage. You also only want to speak in accomplishments, right? So this goes back to me removing those lines that say responsible for or removing job duties. Again, what I do when I'm interested in a new position is I'll print out or highlight the job description to showcase all the things that I may have done. Everything in the job description that I know that I've done before, I make sure to highlight. And when I go to craft my resume, I use my master resume and the knowledge in my head to craft some bullets that speak to what I've already done. For example, if I've managed and led a team of 9+ people, I ensure to speak of it in an accomplishment-based manner. So I talk about how I facilitated and led interpersonal relationships for the best benefit of our working office, instead of just responsible for leading a team of 12. And lastly, you want to show the importance of your work and quantify your success every step of the way. So as I just mentioned in the last example, when I speak about leading a team, I made sure to quantify it by the number of individuals that I've actually managed. This can be done in a total amount, like the 9 people that I've managed, a percentage, or the bottom line effect that it may have. Targeting your resume. This sometimes becomes one of the difficult tasks of creating and crafting a resume that showcases why you're the best individual for the job. Again, you really want to go back to that job description, take a critical eye to ask yourself, what is it that the job description is truly looking for? What is it that they're asking? What is the needs of the company? You want to do as I said and pull out any keywords and highlight and target all of your skills and experiences. This is the importance of preferred skills, transferable skills, or any related tasks that you may have done in a different industry. This is again why your master resume is key, because it allows you to demonstrate and showcase something that you may have done for another workforce that applies to the position that you're applying to. To demonstrate this further, I have an example from jobscan.co, which is also linked in the resources page of the Transfer and Career website. So jobscan.co is an actual applicant tracking website. And the reason why applicant tracking systems are so important is anytime that you generally have to log in and create a login or upload your resume to a database, they may be using an applicant tracking system that gives the applicant a score that tells them if they can pass and move on to a recruiter, or you'll get the automatic email saying, thank you for your time, but you're not quite qualified for this position. To show a demonstration of JobScan, I'm going to use the sample. So we're going to pull a sample resume and job description from the website, from the internet. So again, jobscan.co is a free resource for all students. You don't even have to create a login. You can use a sample report by just copying and pasting your resume in the job description. What it's going to do is it's going to give you a match rate or percentage that shows how well you're tailoring your resume to the job description, to the job position that you're applying to. So for this one, the applicant only got a score of 69%. As you'll see by the key indicators here, you want to ensure that your score is 80% or higher to ensure that you 9 times out of 10 will get access to a recruiter. So 69% is not quite cutting it. The beauty about this tool is that it goes through line by line of what you may be missing to ensure to get a higher score. For the purpose of this workshop, I'm just going to focus on the skills match. So the skills match is an opportunity for you to look at how exactly do we tailor that resume. And we do that by pairing our experiences with the related skills that are in the job description. So the beauty of this website is it does some of that tough work for you. So it'll tell you these are the skills that are listed in the job description as well as your resume. And you'll see they'll tell you how many times each one is represented. So based upon the sample that we received, it's for a mobile company, and some of the sample hard skills that they're looking for are product, customer service, product management, and future road mapping. You'll see that the participant did not get a high score because something like customer experience is listed 3 times in the job description, but not listed at all in the resume. Something like iPhone is represented twice in the job description and no times in the resume. The beauty of this website is that it not only gives us the hard skills, but it also tells us the soft skills. So these are those that are 21st century skills or transferable skills that a lot of times you're completed in your coursework. So the ones that were represented in this job description were passion, innovation, strategic thinking, vision, and high quality. You'll see how many times they're listed in the job description as well as how many times they're listed in the resume. They also have other keywords and specific job recommendations. So as you're applying for one position, they may come up with different positions that you may think of applying to. So again, this website is jobscan.co, not .com. It is an applicant tracking system tool to help you make sure that you're tailoring your resume specifically to the job position you are requesting, and that resource will be listed on our resource page. So more on how to craft the specific bullet to ensure that you win. You get in the spot that lands you an interview. Remember, employers are interested in knowing how you differ from other candidates and what you can bring to their company. In order to do this, you want to express specific accomplishments you had during your employment with those examples. The best way to write a bullet is to start with a strong action verb, preferably one that shows up in the job description, and demonstrates an accomplishment or the impact that you made. Include specific examples, like using the software example that we just used from the applicant tracking system demo. An example would be, developed a new system for tracking customer complaints using Microsoft Excel that led to 24% satisfaction increase in 1 year. So again, using that same premise, we started with an action verb, developed. We created a new system and we demonstrated that specific accomplishment. We also quantified the data by showcasing that with what we've created, we increased satisfaction rates by 24%. We also told them how long that time frame took. It's one thing to say that I increased the budget by 10%. It's another thing to say that I increased the budget by 10% in 1 month. So you want to be able to show that artifact and give something to juxtapose for employers. Let's look at this a little bit more closely. So a bullet example would be for an administrative position. This person said they answered phones and took messages. This is a good start. It does align with the actual position that they're applying to, but it's not quite the best. It does not start with an action verb, it doesn't quantify the data, and it doesn't show the specific examples. So a reiteration of this would be, they greeted, screened, and directed 200 plus calls daily and improved customer experience by decreasing the wait time by 50%. This is, again, the same person, same position, but it allows them to offer an experience to showcase the recruiter why they're the best fit for the job. Another example would be, made lots of lunches and dinner. Well, this is a line from a student job description that did adequately showcase something that they were applying for. Instead, with some time, we changed that to become, prepared and cooked 150 plus meals daily to safely during our busiest shift to maximize profit and support the team. So again, this individual took the time to start with an action verb, quantify the success, and talk about that bottom line. So resume takeaways and key points to remember. Again, because recruiters only spend about 7.4 seconds, you want to make sure that you have a bold name, correct titles, and you want your formatting to be consistent throughout. You want to make sure to keep your font size anywhere from 10 to 12, nothing larger. Your name is the only thing that could be larger on that website, on your resume. Apologize. You do want to use keywords and phrases from the resume, from the job description, and you do want to target your resume every single time. This means that you're going in and you're recreating and recrafting a resume that you may have already specifically for that job position over and over. Since your resume is a formal document, you don't want to use I or me, and you don't want to underestimate the power of keywords and phrases that are listed directly in that job description. Again, we're using the JobScan.co demonstration. You want to use keywords and key skills specifically from the job description to help you move forward. You want your resume to be 1 to 2 pages. You don't want to write a book. This is not a time to create an entire narrative on why you may be the best person in the world, but instead why you're the best fit for that position they're looking to fill. You don't ever want to lie or make up information. Remember, your resume is an opportunity to land you an interview. If you offer an experience that did not create, recruiters are going to be able to identify that right away in your interview. And lastly, you want to be consistent throughout. You don't want to be sloppy with your formatting. You don't want to use something at the top that you don't use at the bottom. And you want to ensure that the information in the format is consistent throughout. Now let's speak about the cover letter, because again, anytime that you create a resume, you should be crafting a cover letter that pairs well with your documents. Your cover letter is an opportunity to truly highlight the artifacts. Just like resumes, employers really only spend a few seconds glancing over cover letters, so remember to keep it concise. It's no more than 1 page ever, and it should be really no more than 3 paragraphs. The beauty about a cover letter is it's your chance to share with the employer how you feel that you're aligned with their company, the mission, the product, and the service. Your cover letter gets to be more anecdotal and a showcase of truly you, the individual. You also get to showcase here why you're a great culture fit. So it's a good idea to research the company a bit when you're applying for any position and include any recent or headlining news in your cover letter. Again, it's the chance for you to point out to the employer the resume that from your resume, the information that you really want them to focus on. And again, it's also an opportunity to truly showcase your personality. Again, you get the opportunity, a one-stop shop to show a little bit about yourself. So your cover letter, you should think of visually as a formal handshake for your resume. While your resume tells the recruiter why you're the best fit for the role, the cover letter introduces you. So it summarizes why you're qualified for the position, and you're telling the reader, I'm so interesting, you should really read my resume. On the screen, you'll see an example of a cover letter. It really should never deviate from this format. It never exceeds 1 page, and it should truly be 3 paragraphs. The first paragraph is opening to show your complete interest and why you're the best person, just your interest. The second paragraph shows some alignment from your actual resume and why you're the best person for the job. Again, this is when you get to really research the company and showcase, I see that your company is really interested in community service. Well, I happen to attend San Diego City College, where our major platform is social justice. So as a student, I know this work very well, and I am excited to show X, Y, and Z in my resume. And your last paragraph is truly just a closing, again, showing a little bit more of your personality and why you're interested in the job. So while the resume is a marketing document, your cover letter truly is that introduction. I cannot express enough to just show your enthusiasm. As a recruiter, it is mundane and boring to consistently see, I saw your job position on Indeed, I found this on the website. Instead, your first liner should really express your interest. I cannot wait to be a part of the dynamic team that works in X, Y, and Z organization. I know that I would be a best asset to your team because of X, Y, and Z. This is really your opportunity to showcase that you truly are excited to apply for this position and land the job. You also want to back that up with evidence directly from your resume. So a great line on a cover letter is, as you'll see outlined in my resume, I have 5+ years in managerial experience and can't wait to be a part of your dynamic team. You truly want to highlight the areas of focus listed on your resume. And just like you do your job description, just like you do your resume, you want to target your cover letter with keywords and skills from that job description. So again, some do's and don'ts really quickly. You do want to show some personality. You always want to research the name of the hiring manager and include that information. If not, you never want to start your letter with to whom it may concern. You should say, dear sir or ma'am, or try and truly do some research to find out who the hiring manager is. You want to target your letter just as you do your resume to the job description, and you want to show right away that you're qualified. You want to show right away why it is that you're applying for this position and how enthused that you are that you would be the best person for the job. You don't want to be boring. You do not want to use the same letter for every single job. Trust me, recruiters will know. You don't want to write a book. It should truly be no longer than 1 page and 3 paragraphs. And you don't want to lie or make up information. Again, your resume is a 1 to 2 page document that offers your experience in the working field. It tells us why you're the best candidate for the job, and you do that by specific language showcasing that you've researched the company and understand the job description well enough to highlight the key skills. You want to use those key skills to tailor your resume to showcase your direct accomplishments that you already have. This can be done from anything and everything from under the sun that you list in your master resume, including paid, volunteer experience, community experience, and those that you may have with familiar care. You also want to ensure that your cover letter is your introduction. You want to make sure that your cover letter introduces you, the dynamic San Diego City College student that I know that you are, and why you're the best person for that job that you're applying to. Remember that format matters. Spelling and grammar matter most. Remember that we have a variety of resources listed on our San Diego City College Transfer and Career page to help you facilitate and foster the skills that you need to be successful during this transition. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you all soon.